What's going on, guys? I'm Tommy, and I'm coming at you with another review. Today I'm going to be reviewing Jazwares Micro Galaxy Squadron TIE Striker from Rogue One, A Star Wars Story. I'm a big fan of Rogue One, and one of my favorite aspects of that film are the new designs that were brought into both the Rebel and Imperial military forces, and just how congruent they were with the rest of the existing military designs. The TIE Striker is a really cool and unique TIE design that I think fits really nicely in with the rest of the TIE family, and I'm really happy that Micro Galaxy Squadron got around to it. I picked this vehicle up at one of my local Walmarts, and I've been sitting on this review for quite some time now, but here I am finally getting around to reviewing this for you. As far as the packaging goes, this is the standard style of packaging for the light armor class of Micro Galaxy Squadron. So on the card back here, you can see we have the Star Wars logo, and then over here we have the Rogue One logo here. On the side of the card back here, you can see Series 8 in this little white cutout here, and then on the bubble, which is in front of a blue grid background, we have the ship. There's going to be some assembly required for this one. You can see that on the little cutout there. There is our pilot there, our Micro Galaxy Squadron logo, the name of the vehicle, and that it is number 168 in the Micro Galaxy Squadron line. On the back of the card back, we have our standard setup for the Micro Galaxy Squadron packaging. You have a hologram image of the ship showing you again a couple of the different features that it has, and then we have a little cutout display or trading card, whatever you want it to be, and then down here we have the rest of the light armor class, including the Chase and Rare for Series 8. Some of your logos down here at the bottom, and then on the bottom of the bubble, even more legalese. Guys, please don't think about feeding this ship to your babies, okay? That about wraps it up for the packaging, so let's get this thing opened and we'll check it out. Alright guys, here's the vehicle out of the box. Before we take a look at the vehicle, of course, let's take a look at the one minifigure that it comes with, and of course we have here, it says Imperial Pilot, not a TIE Pilot on the front. You can see the figure in there, and then on the back here we have a really cool blue grid background with an illustration of the character. And then here we have our TIE Fighter Pilot, and this is a very common figure in the Micro Galaxy Squadron line. They've used this guy for so many different vehicles, and it's a perfect kind of figure to add to this here. You can see that there are printed Imperial cogs on either side of the helmet, and other than that, not a whole lot in the way of paint applications, just a little bit on the chest box there, as well as the belt buckle. It is just, for the most part though, a black sculpt with the different sculpted detail in there, and that's completely fine. Again, for a 1-inch scale, I don't expect too much in the way of painted detail. As far as articulation goes on this guy here, we do have 2 points of articulation, a rod that runs through the shoulders, which gives you a 360-degree swivel and moves them together, and then we have a hinge that runs through the hips that gives you a 90-degree bend so that your figure can sit inside the vehicle. Now, as far as the vehicle itself, there is, like I said, a little bit of assembly required here. So you have the fronts of the wings that are packed in separately underneath. These look like they just slide right in, and they are packed in with the packaging so that they are matched up to the side of the wing they need to go on there. And these fit pretty nicely and snugly in there. You can match them up, and they do sit pretty flush. I don't really notice them all too much, so that's pretty good. The TIE Striker definitely has the TIE aesthetic going for it here, and you can see that in the solar panels on the wings here. They have lots of nice sculpted detail there, and you can see on the front we do seem to have maybe a little bit of painted detail for the canopy on the top for the front, but then there's that extra area in the back which we will take a look at because you can open up the interior of this ship. The Micro Galaxy Squadron line does a really nice job with the sculpted detail of these ships. As you can see, all the machinery on the bottom here, you can see the cannons on the front, and then that very iconic TIE look at the base here. And then you can see the guns as well, the tips of the wings. Looks like a little bit of warping here. I'm interested to see how that'll work once we get it into more of a landed position. So an interesting thing about the TIE Striker is you have these hinges here, and this is accurate to what we see in universe. You can see these hinges move up and down here, and I've seen images and videos of it in a flight mode like this, which I would expect to be the flight mode for when it's in space, and I've also seen it where they're pinned down a little bit like this, and that is when it's in the low altitude form. So the whole point of the TIE Striker is that it is more well equipped for low altitude atmospheric combat. And you can see there's a little bit of warping here. You can get them matched up, and once they're, you know, not so warped, they look good. But yeah, the whole point of this ship is that it does better, it performs better in low altitude, kind of open atmosphere battling and dogfights. So this looks great. I think I'm gonna leave it in this mode here. I kind of like this more than whatever this version is. To me, I just think I like that more, that tucked look there. Reminds me a lot more of the TIE Reaper. No landing gear on this thing. Obviously, most TIE fighters do not have landing gear, but we do have 2 hatches here that open up, and each one just has a hinge. You just kind of pull. The one on the front can be a little more difficult, but we do have some seating in here for some figures. So you can see a seat in the back, and then that is for one figure there. And then we have our seat for the pilot here in the front. You can see all kinds of sculpted detail on this thing, and you can see all the flight yokes and the controls, and you have the control box in the back here for the rear seat. I do wish that they would have included a second figure with this one, just so that you could fill all the seats of the ship. I know that we have the pilot for the ship, but again, if you're going to give me room to put another figure in there, I'd prefer to have the figure. You can also see there's a little bit of paint for the exposed machinery on the back here, and then again, these hatches just kind of close down, snap into place, and once they're snapped into place, they will be securely held. Getting our pilot into the seat here is a little tricky just because of the way that the hinge is on the canopy there, but once you get him seated in the chair, you can bring those arms down, and he fits pretty snugly into the pilot seat there, and we can bring the canopy down, and if you look really closely, you can see him inside there. I don't even know if that's going to show up on camera, but I can see him inside there, and that's pretty cool. What's cool about this particular vehicle, and this is something that I wish that they did with pretty much every vehicle in this line, is include some sort of a flight stand. So this is in a very lightly translucent clear plastic. You do have the Star Wars logo there, as well as just some basic detail, like just generic ship detail, so that's really nice. So this actually works really nicely. You don't have to like slide it on or anything. You just kind of use the little piece, the little clip on the front here, and you match it up with the front guns, and then it'll hold nicely, and then you can have the ship in a little bit of a flight mode there. I will say again, I wish that the wings weren't warped, but that is something that, you know, a little bit of heat can fix that, no problem, but it does look good when it's displayed. After messing around with the ship a little bit, you can see I kind of did work that warping problem a little bit, just kind of moving the wings around. You can kind of mess with it a little bit so you can get them to look more even. Again, not something I should have to do. It could just be a me thing with my copy of the ship, but for a ship like this, I would prefer if it was, you know, just a little more symmetrical out of the box. But with that, guys, that's going to wrap it up for this quick little review of the Micro Galaxy TIE Striker. Really cool ship, other than my little annoyance with how the wings are warped on my copy. That's something that a little bit of heat can fix, and I shouldn't have much issue with that going forward. Rogue One did a really good job with their Imperial TIE designs, and I think this will look great right alongside my TIE Reaper. But with that, guys, I hope you enjoyed this quick little review. If you did and you're not yet subscribed, subscribe to Blitz Transmissions. I've got awesome Star Wars content coming out all the time. If you're an ARC Trooper in my Patreon, you would have seen this review early. If you'd like access to early content, monthly giveaways, and other awesome benefits, the link to my Patreon is in the description below. Become an ARC Trooper for just $4.99 a month. If you're a fan of the reviews I do here on the channel, or you want to support the YouTube channel more directly, you could also check out my YouTube channel membership, Rancor Battalion. For just 99 cents a month, it gives you access to all my reviews early, as well as exclusive badges and priority replies in my comment section, and you get to vote on what I review next for the channel. If you'd like some Blitz Transmissions swag, you could always head over to the Blitz Transmissions Armory over on Printify. Link to that is in the description below, as well as links to my Discord and all my social media. Guys, I hope you enjoyed this review. I'll catch you for the next one, and may the Force be with you.
Breaking off all units. Fire at will. 1-2, pick a target. Too many, Captain. Watch your stabilizer, Gold 6. Anybody cover me. I got 2 vultures on my tail. Gotta hold them here. Watch your left. I can't shake them. I'm hit. I'm hit. Where's our reinforcement?